Hello and welcome to Ditch Witch Diaries. We are in the outer circle of planets, and today we are in the planet of Uranus. I love being in Uranus. It's so much fun.
All up in Uranus.
All up in
We're gonna
Uranus.
get all up in Uranus today.
Exactly. So we're gonna talk about the planet, and then that will be that. So let's kick it off, Raven.
So, Uranus.
Sorry, I will never.
So this is actually the best picture that we have. It was taken in 2022. And we'll kind of continue talking about that. But a lot of people, I think, aren't aware that Uranus actually has rings. So we can see about 13 of them. Oh, the picture from this is from the Webb telescope. So there's 13 rings. We can only really see 11 of them from the telescope. But this is the picture. And so it's known as one of the two ice giants in our outer solar system, the other one being Neptune. It is icy. It's very cold. So 80% or more of the planet's mass is made up of like hot, dense fluid, which, I mean, even though it's hot, it's still called icy. It's mostly water, methane, and ammonia. But at its coldest, it can get to, or not at its coldest, on average, it can get to about negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
So, icy planet. So it looks icy and also icy because it can get really cold. It can get very hot, but it can also get very cold. It wasn't discovered until 1781 by Sir William Herschel, and it moves very slowly through the zodiac. And so when we talk about Uranus in astrology, it's easiest to look at it from like a generation aspect rather than an individual aspect, which we also talked about in the last planet we did, I believe.
Neptune. Yeah.
Neptune, yeah. So it takes about 84 years to complete its trip around the zodiac, around the sun. So it spends about 7 years in each sign, which is why we can look at it generationally, basically. So something interesting, these ones got stuck, but that's okay. So most planets move on a horizontal axis, or they rotate on a horizontal axis, or at a slightly diagonal, like Earth and Saturn. But Uranus moves vertically, and so it's the only one that moves in a very, very different way. And so keep this in mind when we're talking about Uranus.
I'll keep it in mind when you speak of Uranus.
Keep in mind. So it's associations are things like originality, inventions, computers, new technologies. Breaking tradition is a big one, which again, circling back to the way that it rotates, like breaking this tradition, a bit of chaos, going out, breaking the mold. And also it helps us to understand like where to let go, where should we take chances, things like that. So keywords for this planet, inspiration is a big one. It is very fun and playful, change, chaos, but chaos like breaking the mold, chaos, not just like wreaking havoc necessarily, not like stressing me out kind of thing, but very like breaking traditions, breaking conventional methods, that kind of chaos. So freedom, innovation, rebellion, unconventionality, individuality, all of that is associated with Uranus. So there's not a ton of deities associated with it. The one that's talked about the most is in Greek mythology, which is, he's referred to as Uranus, but sometimes it's written as Uranos, which is why we also get Uranus instead of Uranus is from this. And so this is the personification of the sky, known as one of the Greek primordial deities, so one of like the originals. The son and husband of Gaia, and it's said that he created the first generation of the Titans, the like giants. We also have 4 other ones. So in Mesopotamia, we have Anshar, we have the Armenian god Yurknak, there we go. Hindu is Arorna, and Egyptian Horus, also known as Hor. So the element is air. Oh, crystals, minerals, I forgot to add that, but they're very much associated with tied to the color. So things that look kind of icy, like selenite and satin spar, a bit of rose, desert rose, there we go, and other things that are kind of like this light blue, icy blue kind of color. And then also anything that brings about like change and ideas and innovation. Colors are light blue, that only has 1 metal, which is zinc. It's associated with the 11th house, the sign of Aquarius. Body part is pretty much anything that kind of gets ideas and juices flowing. So circulatory system, eyes, and the nervous system. And there isn't really anything, it's not associated with any of the days of the week because it's considered one of the outer planets. However, some people tie it to Wednesday, but that's because it has some shared associations with Mercury, and Mercury's day is Wednesday. So it's not really Uranus Day, but because it's associated with Mercury a bit, some people tie it to Wednesday. There was another crystal that I was going to talk about. I can't remember what it was. I guess another thing is I associate ideas with anything that's flashy. So like labradorite, that wouldn't really be associated with a color, like in a color, but labradorite has that flashiness, which is called labradorescence. And so anything that kind of gives like this flashiness, I associate that with like ideas and inspiration and insight. So I would also
like even opal.
Yeah, opal would be a great one. Yeah, there's lots of them. A lot of crystals I feel like give like have ties to inspiration. Like a lot of crystals, if not most of them, I think you can tie it to inspiration in some way or another. But I would use the coloring, and then yeah, anything that's just kind of like crazy. Crazy lace agate would be a good one too, which is like calming. So it's not going to be as like tied to the rebellious nature, but like creativity and calm change. That would be a good one, crazy lace. Okay, so for these symbols, there are 2 symbols when we're talking about it astrologically. Both of these. This is the most common one that I've found in books. However, online, I find this one to be the most common. So take what you will. So the placement when we're talking about Uranus in your chart, this is kind of seen as like your mad scientist area, which I really like. It's basically where you're prone to like breaking ground, being a bit eccentric, like where you are liberated, in what ways you're liberated, and where you like will not be tied to conventional norms, and where you won't be like fenced in. So it's where your inspiration comes from, but also this kind of like bringing in this element of like, fuck this, like I'm gonna bring some chaos, I'm gonna break these rules. So in Sag, which is me, this is where we just are curious. Sagittarius are very curious creatures. Rebecca. And so when we have like curiosity and like this craving of knowledge paired with Uranus, it's about like just like liberty and free thought and free action, and just kind of wanting to like fight for freedom, fighting for what you believe in, fighting for what came to mind when I was reading about this is it's like the antithesis of book banning, where like these people who want to ban books and ban like all of this knowledge, the Sagittarius and Uranus comes through and it's like, no, like we don't ban this, like this is, every knowledge is free for everybody, like, and fighting for that. That's kind of what came to mind for me.
Nice.
And then in Libra, hold on,
which is mine.
Yeah. It is kind of hidden. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so in Libra, attitudes, so it's tied to romance. I found a lot of stuff tying Libra to romance, which has come up when we talked about Roz just slightly, but most of the time when I think about Libra, it's not about romance, but a lot of people talk about this. So it's like thinking about love and romance in unconventional ways, and like chewing on and remaking this idea of love. And that could be like love with a romantic partner, potentially even like self-love, I guess, but it's challenging this traditional roles of like romantic relationships and love. But it's also about a cause. So Libra is very much about like justice and balancing the scales and wanting everybody to like have their like rights and their way of being in their turn. And so it's about like social justice, big time social justice, like really, really wanting and striving for and working towards social justice and just justice for people who don't have a voice very much, and like trying to balance out these scales of people who are being overpowered.
I love that.
Yeah. So is Roz the same as me? I don't know. Do you have her chart?
I do.
I didn't look at
let me
it,
see if I can dig it out really quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have no idea.
I should have just asked you earlier when I
know, you should have asked me before. Let me see where it is. Hold on.
Well, it says 7 years, but I don't know like where that cutoff is, you know?
Yeah.
Here, you know what? It's just in this book.
'Cause
I can
for
find,
Neptune,
what year were you born, Roz?
82.
Okay, so let me see. I can find it right now. Uranus in Libra. You're in Sagittarius as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So there you go.
So when it comes to magic, I mean, it's kind of hopefully you're seeing the themes here, but it's about like transformation, bringing in magic associated with transformation, or starting something new ideas, change, liberation, and like freedom from restrictions and freedom from chains and freedom from all this stuff, progress, again, change and reform, inventing new things, individual freedom, individual expression, like any type of magic associated with any of those things would be tied to like Uranus magic. So when we're talking about herbs, typically Uranus herbs are active, so and stimulating, which is kind of the same, but highly stimulating and dry. So the big ones that we have on like our group list are cloves, coltsfoot, flax, ginseng, elemi, gum, nutmeg, allspice, and valerian. Which valerian is interesting to me. I could see the dryness associated with it, but not the activation and like the action. But
so yeah, so a lot other ones that I saw were like chicory and cola nut as well. So those kind of things.
Yeah,
and also ones that are purgatives too, like or like things that will make you throw up and get rid of like
Kaka.
Yeah, get rid of the things that you're tied to.
Yes.
So then I think that like Hoppe would be in there too, the sacred tobacco. That would probably be a good one. It's usually fugitive. And so this is from Bayrell. Thanks, Bayrell. And that's pretty much it.
Very nice.
Yeah, so bring in the chaos and the craziness.
Exactly. Well, get ready, because here we're gonna go and with the next one. Awesome. Thank you so much for telling us all about Uranus. I love learning all about Uranus. It was just delightful. You're Uranus.
Hearing this whole thing about Uranus.
So much fun in Uranus.
Really made my day.
Aw.
Anyway, we will see you at the next Ditch Witch Diaries.